Lipo Sculpture Talk, Episode 3. You're listening to a popular television show in South Korea. It promises to change lives through cosmetic surgery. Surgical makeover shows like these are now prime-time entertainment in South Korea. I first heard the story about a year ago on This American Life. An American teacher named Julia Lurie reported on the obsessions of Korean students in an all-girls school in Seoul. I was surprised to hear that full-length mirrors and scales were found on every floor throughout the school. The student said the principal wants them to be there. He wants us to be skinny, she said. And they think nothing unusual with that. In South Korea, it's become commonplace and acceptable to discriminate by looks.
You have to be pretty. You have to be pretty, you have to be good looking to get those jobs.
So I wanted to dig a little bit deeper and find out why. What are the cultural differences in American and Korean attitudes on plastic surgery? This week on Lipo Sculpture Talk, we're going to Seoul, South Korea, where they're the world leader in plastic surgery procedures per capita.
And this entire building, going all the way up, plastic surgeons, plastic surgeons, plastic surgeons. This entire row of stores, retail storefronts, all plastic surgeons.
That's Robert Kim from Plastic Surgeons Seoul, the authority directory for plastic surgeons in Seoul, Korea. He's going to take us on a little tour through the Gangnam district. Gangnam is the entertainment district in Seoul that's the center of the Korean pop culture, or K-pop, like Hollywood. That's sweeping through Korea, China, Malaysia, and the Philippines. But Gangnam is also becoming a huge beauty hub, attracting plastic surgery tourism from all over. Robert's going to guide us on a little tour now of
the metro of Seoul, Korea, in Apgujeong, to show you how many ads there are, and show you some of the ads, and show you the facial transformation that these women go through. They even go through skeletal bone transformation. They'll even get their hips, their cheekbones, their jawline, their forehead carved down or chiseled down in order to look different, to have different facial proportions, to get these jobs, to get married, to start a family. That's what you have to do. So here, join me on this tour of the Seoul Metro, which is right in front of us, down here. Wow. Every single ad in the metro, in the subway in Korea, is a cosmetic surgery ad. Every single one. Plastic surgery. This one's a plastic surgery ad. Wow, look at what they can do to your nose, eyebrows. These guys are apparently big cosmetic surgeons. This is only on one side. Now look at the other side of the metro. Same ad here. This guy again. It's just loaded with every single side. In the metro in Seoul, Korea. This happens to be the Apgujeong Metro.
I would only put on makeup like when I go out stuff, but then now I always do.
That's Rachel, a Korean American. She used to live in New York City until she moved to Seoul in 2012.
Koreans care a lot more about their looks than non-Koreans or foreigners. Like, for example, when I used to live overseas, I would hardly ever put makeup on. Like, even when I went to school, I would have like very little makeup or like no makeup whatsoever. And like I think it's because like in Korea, like people care a lot about like how they are perceived by other people, and like also I think they're very like look oriented. I don't know like if you get it, but then like in other words, like they don't try to see like what's inside the people, like the inner beauty of people. So then that makes them like concentrate more and more on the looks. And then they have like, especially the girls, they have this thing where like they get jealous if other girls are like prettier, and like that's why like competition gets fiercer and fiercer, and then they change their faces, plastic surgery and stuff.
Let me explain to you the culture of Korea and why there are so many plastic surgeons in Seoul and why it's so popular. 93% of all women in Seoul have had plastic surgery done. Some form of plastic surgery. 93. In fact, they start as early as 16 or 17 years old just getting their eyelids done. Just getting the eyelid surgery process done.
And that's the most popular surgery in Seoul, the double eyelid surgery. It basically adds a double crease to the eyelid. They also do a lot of eye widening to make bigger eyes. They do some mole removal. Another big one is nose heightening. Not necessarily a nose job, but to raise the bridge of your nose a little bit. Boob jobs and butt lifts are very rare. The influence that K-pop culture has, not just on South Koreans, but other cultures too, is immense. You see lots of affluent Chinese walking in Gangnam. Medical tourism in Seoul is booming. Not just the surgery business, but the entire experience. They offer recovery in comfortable hotels. Clinics are available to speak different languages. It's all about the comfort and experience. Plastic surgery is so rampant with K-pop stars, it's parody. Okay, so why is plastic surgery so big in Seoul? Is it because of vanity? K-pop is exploding, K-drama is big in Seoul, and it's got tremendous influence overseas. So, Robert, is it vanity?
No. No, that would be a secondary or maybe tertiary reason. And I'm going to explain to you why, from an anthropological cultural standpoint, why Seoul, Korea, is the #1 capital for plastic surgery in the world. Not Beverly Hills, not Buenos Aires, Argentina, not Sao Paulo, Brazil, like it used to be. It's Seoul, Korea, and this is why. The primary reason is competition. There are 25 million people. 25 million people here. 25 million people in Seoul, Korea. The amount of people that are unemployed, the amount of unemployment in Seoul, Korea is equal to the total number of military troops in Korea. It's a huge unemployment number. Now here's the part that you might find shocking as a Westerner. On high school applications, on college applications, on job applications, you must post. You must attach a photograph of yourself. You must attach a photograph of yourself for a job application. You must identify whether you're married, how old you are. Talk about sexual age discrimination. Yeah, it happens right here in Seoul because it is the most competitive city in the world. Seoul is the only city in history that I can think of. If you can think of another city or another country that's done this, gone from a third world country to a first world country with a first world economy in about 20 years, in about 15 years, let me know. I can't think of any other country that's done that. But the way they've done that has cost the people greatly. In fact, even President Obama, talking to African nations, said that Seoul has come from being literally just a war-torn rice paddy farm into Samsung, LG, Hyundai. Hyundai is now producing automobiles that you don't even know is manufactured by Hyundai because it's under totally different names. 6 cylinders, 8 cylinders. They're competing with Lexus, Infiniti, Mercedes, BMW. And it's all happening here in Seoul. And how they've done it, what it's cost, as far as why there's so much plastic surgery. It's so competitive here in Seoul, Korea, that children who are 11 or 12 years old, 13 years old, are starting to get white hair. Kids are starting to get white hair. That is called, there's even a word for it in Korea, that's called sachi. Sachi. What that means is that children are staying up until 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, going to academies, going to school, studying, doing their homework, doing extracurricular projects, even into Saturday, sleeping only 4, 5 hours a day, just so that they can get into a good high school. They're studying so hard, they're sitting so hard that they're having so long that they're having back problems at the age of 16, 17. And that's common here in Seoul, Korea. Now imagine if children are studying that hard, which, by the way, just last week, the Ministry of Education in Seoul, Korea, has made it illegal, has banned the practice of late-night studying for children. You can look it up on Google News. It's been a national pandemic. Children with gray hair with back problems. Now, if it's that competitive for children to get into a good high school or good college, imagine how competitive it is for women to get into a good corporate position, especially when you hear what's required of women, what women have to do to get a job, just to apply for a job in Seoul, Korea. You might be amazed. In order to get a job here in Seoul, you have to not only post your photograph on your resume, your application, but once you do start working, there is no overtime pay. In fact, some companies, if you work overtime, they give you half pay. Not time and a half, half pay. So if you're making $20 an hour for 8 hours a day, the 9th and 10th hour, you're only making $10 an hour. Most companies don't even do that. Most companies literally make you work from 8 a.m. in the morning till about 9 to 10 p.m. every night. They have a cafeteria in the company. You eat lunch and dinner at the company, and you work 14-hour days, and you come in on Saturdays. And no, if you have a date, you have to cancel the date. There was a saying, a expat French woman told me, she said she didn't like Seoul because you have to date your boss before you date your boyfriend. And that's how it is. That's how competitive it is here in Seoul. And people don't quit those jobs. Why? Because those are the only jobs around. You have to have those jobs. And in order to get them, you have to be pretty. You have to be pretty, you have to be good looking to get those jobs, and young.
There's a strong difference that many Western countries have from Seoul, Korea. In the West, we're raised to believe that we're all special snowflakes, all unique in our own way. We're shapely, curvy, black, white, tall, short. We all have something to offer. And that's America. Individuality is perhaps valued more. On the streets of Gangnam in recent years, you notice a similarity in many faces. Here's Rachel again.
A lot of the girls look alike and a lot of the guys look alike. It's because they do the same procedures and you're sort of losing the charismatic feature that you were born with.
Also, men are stupid and they see a pretty face. Men are not, oh, she's got inner beauty. I don't care.
And that's Joan Rivers. She's maybe the national spokesperson for plastic surgery. Unofficial. She's telling it like it is, like it truly is in life. And the truth is, no matter where you are in the world, it's unfair. Good-looking people get perks. Good-looking people get special favors, they get more attention, more days off of work, they get raises. And no, it's not fair. It's not. It sucks. But it's the way of the world, and it's always been that way. But at least in South Korea, they're honest about this fact. And the playing field is at least leveled a little bit with plastic surgery. Joan, take us out.
I think everybody looks better with plastic surgery, and you're just not going to do it to look younger, because if you're ugly and they make you look younger, then you have more time for men to go at you. I've said this a million times, better a new face coming out of an old car than an old face coming out of a new car. Put your money on you.
And thank you, Robert Kim, for that interesting tour of Seoul. You'll find Robert's online directory of the best plastic surgeons in Seoul at koreanovernight.com/plastic surgeons Seoul. And I'm Chris from liposculpturetalk.com. We cover and map the complete liposculpting and plastic surgery directory in the United States. Check us out.